Hey kids, this is Ivan. How you doing? It is crazy, crazy weather. I literally had the wood stove on, I think maybe last night, the night before last, and now I've got the air conditioning on down here in the basement. I'm in the basement now because my daughter moved in, and so she lives in the room that I used to make my videos in and have all my stuff in. But it's actually much bigger down here. I've got a lot more room. So anyhow, I made this ridiculously long live video yesterday. It was 40 some odd minutes, so God bless you if you actually want, sat through that. I think some people actually sat through it and asked me some questions during the video itself. I was talking about beginning to play with kids at the library. And I wanted to make kind of like two different series, side by side. One talking about the experience with the kids at the library, not really harping on 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. Hey, John. And John Spencer just said hi. And also, I wanted to make a different video series talking about my experience with 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, learning it, playing it, and then examining it for what it is in several different levels. And one of the things I just want to put out there, because this video I really do not want to be very long, is the idea that my purpose for this, it was unexpected because my friends solicited me to play, or run games for the kids at the library. But I decided what I wanted to do with this was I wanted to learn it myself. I wanted to not watch all the videos about it. I know some people have already mentioned to me that you should watch Professor Dungeon Master and playing with kids and this, that, and the other thing. And I've gotten some other pieces of advice, but I wanted to stay away from all the stuff that's out there as far as tutorials and what other people think of it, because for the most part I really haven't watched any of that. To begin with, I think the closest I've come is maybe watching some Matt Colville videos, and I really wasn't watching them about 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. I was watching them about other things. And so I wanted to go in there completely blind and have this experience of what is it like picking up this game, reading it, letting the book stand on its own merit, learning it from the book, and then actually playing it, and trying, finding the stuff in the book, figuring out the whole thing. What does this game, actually read like? What does it actually play like? If I'm not going on the internet and asking somebody else what to do. And part of the reason I wanted to do that is because when I picked up Dungeons and Dragons, I learned it myself. I ended up playing with other people, but initially, I read it, and I grokked the fullness, and I figured out how the game worked. And so I wanted to see if could I have the same experience with this, and then take a look at my experience back then as well, and see what really happened. And of course, you can only have your first time once, and so it's not like it's the first time ever looking at a Dungeons and Dragons game. It's not like the first time ever looking at an RPG, but I've had the experience of looking at a bunch of the RPGs on my shelf and reading them kind of cold, kind of blind, and seeing, and figuring them out. So I wanted to do the same thing with this, despite the fact that there's all kinds of stuff out there. So I know a lot of people have given me suggestions saying, look at this, look at that, look at the other thing. Nope, not going to do it. I'm going to check these things out myself and figure out, see what I can figure out all by my lonesome, and see what kind of conclusions I come to all by my lonesome. Now, it's not entirely all by my lonesome, because the other thing I'm doing is I'm watching, oh, right on, man. Hey, listen, Lamentations is great, so no problem, John. He's thanking me for jumping on Lamentations, which is cool. Anyhow, I'm not doing this all by my lonesome, because if you've watched our, ill-fated Lamentations in Mars game, or if you watched a little bit of our Leagues of Cthulhu, and we had to stop because right when my girlfriend got cancer, I kind of stopped everything for a little while, and she was getting radiation again. By the way, it's spread, so we got some things going on. But anyhow, I'm not going to talk about that right now. We're playing Astonishing Swordsmen and Sorcerers of Hyperborea. These two fellows that I was fortunate enough to meet, Eloy and Jose, a couple fine fellows from Puerto Rico. We play quite a bit, and Eloy they played before. It's not their favorite game. But Eloy is running a game for one of his daughters, and he's run it for her before. But this time we're all going to be playing. We're going to be playing on Wednesday nights for 1 hour. I think between like when Jose comes home and her bedtime. And just be a hoot. So we're going to start playing tonight. So I do have these guys to talk to about the game. They've had some experience. We've talked about, we're reading the game together to re-familiarize, or they're re-familiarizing themselves with it. I'm learning it for the first time. And we're asking some questions back and forth. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? Oh, I can't believe it's like this. So, I'm not entirely in a vacuum. So I'll just be honest about that. And, it's funny because we've just had the same experience, because I had not read Astonishing Swordsmen and Sorcerers of Hyperborea for a long time either, so I'm pulling that off my shelf to read, to run the game, and I think neither of them had read it for a while. Jose's another backer, and we're going back and forth. Oh, check this out, check that out. I can't believe you did this, and so, I'm looking at this with other people, and we're having fun actually comparing this game to something like, what is reading this game like comparing to reading Astonishing Swordsman and Source of Hyperborea? What is, what this game, how this game handles things different from how that game handles things, or different from like Lamentations, making and a BX, because we played together in the Company of the Raven, which I think is all up on Aloy's Umbramancer channel. So we played a bunch of D&D together as well as other games. So I am kind of going it with these two fellows at the same time, but for the most part, I really wanted to go in blind. And we've been talking about how this book reads. What is it like navigating this book? What is it like navigating the other books? Because so far my experience has been, and I want to make this a short video, so far my experience has been navigating this book is a lot different than navigating this book, and it's a lot different than navigating this book. They're written very, very differently. And so I want to talk about that quite a bit. And they should be arriving today. I've got because they're cheap and because of some other reasons, I've got the Essentials box set and the Starter box set coming to my house because I want to take a look at what those look like and really take a look at the entire game. I haven't ordered any of the Splat books yet, although I do have some on digital copy. But we'll get to that. So anyhow, this is the kind of the beginning of the series, and just giving you like a kind of an idea of like how I'm approaching this. So I appreciate all the advice from people saying, look at this, look at that, to help with your game or to understand things or to get better ideas. But I don't want to do that because I really want to have this experience. What is it like taking this game at face value on its own merit? So that's kind of what I'm going to be doing, and we'll be talking about that. All right, take it easy, kids. Have a good one.